Welcome to a new test and teardown video. This time it's an ESP model 300A auto ranging capacitance bridge made in England is what they say here, even on the front. How nice is that? So all I see is 4 digits, but we also got some other digits down there. That's probably the multiplier. So there is one little problem. Oh, it's actually really heavy. And the biggest problem I see is mains cable is cut. This is normally my kind of code for something is seriously broken inside. So I kind of do this sometimes, but I don't know what they had in mind, what they did about this one. And there's also, it looks like we got a lot of funny modifications. Look at the holes and the screws and all that kind of stuff here. It's not looking that original, is it? And how are we going to open this, by the way? That's also going to be a little bit interesting. Let's look a little bit inside. It's funny how I misunderstood the way that you open this box. Of course you don't use those screws here on the front. I had the idea they were somehow connected to the top part, and I also took away those screws right there, and this is of course wrong, because those are the screws that hold the lid, and this little lock-off thing you see here and here, they go in and behind the set screws that's made like this. It's a little bit complicated and confusing, this design, because you need to adjust a lot of things here to make all these things happen. You can see this is bent, there's pressure on this one, and this open this exactly that amount, and I don't know what. It's a really complicated design, by the way. What else can we say about this? It is, I think, a serious company. I mean, they even put their name and the number and address and everything here on it, and it looks like a serious product, right? But when you open this, it looks more like a DIY kind of homebrew thingy that you would do if you are like 16 years old or something. And this is the kind of level I see here. I'm definitely not impressed in any way. What kind of funny looking design is this? And it's full of bugs and bug fixes. See, drill some holes, put in some diodes up here, drill this and drill that, put in some wires and whatnot, all sorts of funny things. Yeah, man. And it's a double-sided board with extra little wires here and there and everywhere. And they started the design with components put places where they needed to be moved. So you can see tracks here, they're a little bit too close, and here we got a lot of space and so what. Of course, this one is very old, much older than you would think. So it's probably from the mid-70s. Yeah, that old. And if you look at the date code, look at the date codes. 75, 76, 77, 75, and so on, right? So that is probably why. It's way before CAT and all that. Oh, there was some text here on the film. They just added some tape to remove that. Look at that. You can clearly see the marks here that this was tape. And also the implementation. Oh, yeah, see? We got some broken screws in both of these. So they're doing some flippity flips. They were supposed to be some screws here that went through, and then they are somehow broken. And the mains entry, yeah, I'm trying to pull this out so we can see. That's easy. And what is this? Why would you do this instead of just soldering the wire correctly here? Then you, I mean, what the? This is weird. But let's see if it blows the fuses, or why was this cut? Sometimes there is a good explanation for this. I was able to Google a little bit around, and look at that. I find the manual, full manual with everything for this automatic capacitance bridge. It's of course scanned in a little bit funny brightness and contrast, but anyway, we can definitely see it's a 1 picofarad to 2000 microfarad, and with a very high accuracy. This manual is, yeah, of course, from the mid-70s, written entirely using a typewriter, so I really love the way that they've done this. And here we got with all the different specifications of how it's reading this and reading that, with all the power supply and so on. Let's continue with the general information. There's a full explainer in the manual about exactly how it's working and what you do with the different trimmers and all that. I don't really want to sit here and read everything for you. Well, all you have to do is just Google for this manual. It will be super easy for you to find this. Look, here is the power supply. Yeah, it's really funny. It's using those two smaller transformers, but that is of course a height problem they are solving like that. And we can see in the bottom right that we got some initials and 76. So the schematic is from 1976 for the power supply. And here is the power, so here is the schematic for the entire counter and display section and all that. And here we find the initial and the year 77 in the bottom left. Also see the schematic is handwritten. Also really like that. And here is the component placement. So let's try and power this up for the first time with a nice new cable mounted and all that kind of stuff. And here we go. That was mains, and it's of course not using anything because this switch is directly in series with mains power. And oh, look at that. Oh, that is nice. So it's writing micro or pico. Oh, I totally love it already. And the idea is there's a potentiometer here at the back, and the idea is you should zero that. Oh, so it is not responding to 0. Or maybe I am just a little bit too fast. Hey, let's try and connect something and see what happens. So here I just found a nice low loss film capacitor from my 100 nanofarad mixed used capacitors, and it's almost 95. So this is my other meter, and I think this is quite close to the same reading, so I'm quite happy about that. Maybe I should try something else. Let's try another little capacitor here. It says 22 micro, but this is definitely very, very dependent on the measurement frequency. So here I'm measuring at 50 Hertz, and this is the way to get the highest reading with a capacitor like that. If you go up a little bit in the kilohertz, 10 kilohertz, you see you get 15, or at 1 kilohertz you get 17. I think this is where it's going to be. It is actually working, this zeroing, so you have to dial this real slow, and then see, now you get 0 pico when nothing is connected. So let's try this capacitor again here on this unit, and then you get 17.8. So that means it is testing around 1 kilohertz for this. So this is how this thing works. It is testing at many different frequencies, and then it will find the right frequency, and then it will measure the charge discharge time, obviously. The only thing that is a little bit annoying, if you ask me, is this blink here. This just zeros all the counters. Maybe this is a bug. Maybe they don't really do this in reality when it was good and working, but this is how it's working at the moment. But other than that, since it measures all the right values and all that, I mean, I'm not going to poke around with anything since it really works. You can, of course, play with all those trimmers here and see all the different ranges, and then adjust the gain in each of the ranges, but I really don't want to do that. So I think I will call this the end of this video. So thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.